If you have been following our show for any period of time, you know that I tend to offer my opinion pretty regularly on all aspects of tattooing. But really, it's all been based on my personal experience, and none of it is really rooted in science at all. Because the fact is, I don't really know what's happening underneath the skin, and you don't either. We're just pretending like we do. What are the main ingredients in modern inks? What purposes do they serve? Where do the dry pigments come from? Is there anything that we can do to make them better? Should they be regulated? If they should be regulated, who should do it? The federal government? Us? So we partnered with S8 Tattoo to take some deeper dives into all aspects of tattooing. With nearly half the millennial population being tattooed, the FDA sees it as their responsibility to protect public health. So what are the main ingredients in modern tattoo inks? Well, by volume, it's mostly pigment. So what are pigments? Well, there are two main categories of pigments. They're organic and inorganic. And you would think that organic pigments would be favorable, but in fact, inorganic pigments are best suited for tattooing. I recently sat down with a chemist from S8, and this is what I got from the conversation.
So the FDA is interested in manufacturing processes, but they really want to understand the components of the chemicals that make up the ink. So the biggest one's going to be the pigment.
In fact, about 2/3 of it is pigment, followed by water.
They want to know precisely which cytomolecules represent that particular pigment. The FDA looks at a whole range of things too, so that stuff might not be safe to put down a drain for reasons that they know about. There's a really wide range that they're trying to look at. A good way to think about it is they're paranoid by definition. So just tell what the pigments are made out of at the molecular level, which compounds they are. I think really at the base level that they would be happy with that.
An example of an organic pigment would be plants and even insects. And the problem with using a tattoo pigment is that your body is very opportunistic. So when you punch into the skin, your body recognizes that foreign body and tries to find a use for it, which robs you of your tattoo.
So for each molecule that you have in a chemical index, you'll have a pantheon of information that tells you all sorts of things that would be related to biological activity that you can eliminate just right off of the top. You can almost index things that are safe for human consumption and not safe for human consumption.
So one thing that is important to understand about pigments is that they're not a uniform particle size. Some are big, some are small. Our goal is to get the particles down to a uniform size so that they flow into the skin easily. It's those last few ingredients that make it suitable for tattooing. And those are dispersants, surfactants, and preservatives.
And the easiest way to understand things from a medical perspective, or really a scientific perspective, is you reduce it. You break it up into chunks and you lay all the chunks together. So it's a reductive way of trying to understand a problem space.
So let's pretend that these clumped up pieces of paper are particles of ink. They're not uniform in shape or in size. What tends to happen is they'll trap oxygen in these crevices. So the function of the dispersant is to coat the particles, removing the oxygen and making for an even distribution of pigment particles whenever the ink is shaken or stirred. Next in line is the surfactant. What the surfactant does basically is it changes the surface tension of the liquid. So we've all taken showers in a hard water environment. Hard water has a high surface tension, which is why you stay soapy. We want a low surface tension so that it strips away and removes the soap. Or in our case, we want a very low surface tension in tattoo inks so that they can quickly and efficiently fly into the skin. The final ingredient in tattoo inks is the preservative. So anytime you have water, you run the risk of microbes growing, which can cause infection. The preservative eliminates this risk.
On the manufacturing side, they want to make sure that practices are maintained so that you don't get gram-negative, gram-positive bacteria inside of the tattoo ink, and you have a recall because someone didn't follow good manufacturing processes.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
In future episodes, we'll discuss other uses for these same ingredients, such as beef grading, counterfeit detection, computer vision and augmented reality, and even finding cancer cells. So one thing that interests me, a lifelong problem in tattooing, is the market of darker skinned clients. We're really, really limited in what we can do with dark skin. We can't put light pigment to show in dark skin. Is there a possibility of solving that problem?
The answer is yes, you can do it. It's an engineering problem, but you'll have to design tattoo inks in a way that compensates for the spectral loss that you get in the skin. That's the advantage maybe of broadening out tattooing to include more folks that are in scientific fields, because that particular problem is really interesting. The upshot is you can do it, but folks have to collaborate so that they understand the problem definition, what they're trying to do. Can you do all colors that you can see? Absolutely not. You're going to be limited because there's absorption through the cells that constitute your skin. Those wavelengths of light will be absorbed. But working with the artists and working with the tattoo community, you can find out what the best possible range is. And each color that you're going to engineer, it's going to be a significant amount of work. So you want to make sure that everybody understands the problem.
Crazy stuff, right? So obviously there are tons of opportunities to collaborate with other smart people and push tattooing into the future. That's it for part one. We'll see you next time. We've talked a little bit about the potential future of tattoo and the possibilities of tattoo inks going forward. Is there a way that the industry can self-regulate? To answer this question, maybe we could look to other industries who face the same problem.
I want to give a special shout out to this video's sponsor, S8 Tattoo. You can check out all of their fantastic tattoo products through the link in the description below. Use the code Fireside to get 10% off of any tattoo product. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Be sure to check out our website at firesidetattoo.com for tons more content, including our weekly video podcast, our Fireside Technique series, courses, workshops with top tattooers and painters, and also unique Fireside merchandise. And be sure to subscribe for more exciting content coming soon. We'll catch you in the next video.